Hello everybody and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today is going to be a little bit more of like a sit down, casual kind of video in which I talk to you guys about a topic that I have been considering for quite a while that of course you guys are very familiar with. And this video is going to be all about discussing editing in makeup photos. We're going to be talking about pros and cons. I'm going to be giving you guys my thoughts, my opinions, and my experience of course. And I also really want to know your opinions. So of course if you have any opinions of your own that you want to share on this topic, please tell me down below and I will get back to you. I think that we are all familiar with the fact that pretty much every single editorial, pretty much every single campaign photo, every single advertisement photo that you see online or anywhere in magazines is edited in some kind of way. I have a photography background, so I edit everything. I'm used to that. I don't necessarily consider a photo finished unless it's edited in some way, shape, or form. I like to use Photoshop. I've used phone apps before, most notably Facetune, which you guys probably have already heard of, and that is like an app that a lot of people use. But I use Photoshop and I have used editing to various degrees. Now, if you saw like a video that I did a while ago, it was kind of like reacting to my old Instagram photos or something. I talked a little bit about how I used to really just over edit my photos. And if you look at my Instagram today, and if you look at the oldest photo, you probably have already just realized how much I was editing. And I personally think that was taking it a little bit too far. I would edit my skin, I would edit my eyeshadow. If I had a winged liner, I would basically correct it and I would perfect it using editing. I would basically go in with like a black pen tool and shade in my eyeliner to make it look better. If I had like a gap between my lashes and between my liner, I would fix that as well. I would saturate certain parts of my eyeshadow. I would smooth my lips over. I would blur the background. I would basically do like a whole bunch of things to make the photo look better than it already did, or than it actually did. I would use a variety of techniques to make my makeup skills look better than they basically were. And I was at that time of course insecure with my skin. I had a lot of acne, so I would use photo editing to remedy that issue. And yeah, I think it was a little bit too much because the finished photo would basically appear to be incredibly edited and it would look just completely unrealistic. And I think that like I slowly realized that, and especially when I started taking photography classes, I was, I think, more in tune with what looks natural in photo editing and what doesn't. When I started taking photography classes, I really realized how to take a photo. I started learning about camera settings, and I basically learned about how to take a photo and how to make the background blurry so I wouldn't have to do that in post-processing. And I also learned a lot about Photoshop because like when I went into a photography class, the only photo editing that I did was editing apps, which is, in my opinion, not a very good thing to use if you're trying to create a good or realistic effect when it comes to photo editing. So with that class, with that photography class, I learned a lot about Photoshop. I studied Photoshop a lot and I became certified to use it. And as a result, I'm now knowledgeable about the many different ways and the many different techniques you can use and programs to edit photos in photography. And I do admit that that photography class kind of opened my eyes to the false nature of what we see on the internet and how that translates into real life. Because Photoshop, I will definitely tell you right now, you can literally change an entire makeup look just by doing Photoshop. You can basically redo your makeup in editing, and you see a lot of people do that. And I think especially coming from a photography background and with the photography education that I now possess, I can look at a photo and I can already kind of tell if it's been edited and how much it's been edited, or if it hasn't been edited at all. And with that view and with that mindset, it's kind of like turned me off in a way to a lot of influencers and a lot of accounts on the internet that edit their photos to an extreme level. In general, I edit photos as a photographer. I'm a freelance photographer and I edit photos because that is what photography is all about. I don't agree with the idea of not editing photography photos. I think that if you have a client, if you are doing just photos for fun and you're taking it seriously and you're taking it as an art, I don't think that you should be pressured to not edit photos because it looks fake or it's not real. And I've actually spoken about this from like a photography viewpoint on this channel, and I posted a video like about, I think it was in the summer, where I talked about like editing photos versus not editing photos from a photography standpoint. And I'll put that video up there if you're interested in watching it. But it's interesting because you see so much advertising and you see so much emphasis on products, especially on social media, and especially when you're looking at makeup. So you see, for instance, somebody basically posting a photo of makeup that they created with a certain makeup palette, for example, or a certain lipstick or a certain foundation, and they put that foundation in the description of the post, or they talk about it, and the photo's been edited like extensively, and you're like, okay, well, how can I trust this? Like, is this gonna look this pigmented? Like, is this foundation gonna look this good on me? Because this person has edited their photos and it's been done in like a excessive manner. So it's like, who do you believe? What do you believe? Like, do you even want to buy this like product? If a product is advertised in a better light than it actually is, if that makes any sense, you're kind of like wondering, should I actually buy that product if it's been edited in the photo? So you know what I mean? And that's kind of like an issue that I see a lot. Whenever you see like sponsored posts, for instance, and you see that the skin has been edited or like the eyes have been edited, and it's kind of like, well, you don't know what to believe because it looks like an advertisement. And that's kind of where I'm seeing like the beauty industry going in general. It seems to be very advertisement, very money driven, which is okay. Like, people need to make a living, but at the same time, you see like something that is seemingly genuine, but then it doesn't look that genuine. And yeah, it's kind of weird. And that's why I really admire a lot of people who don't edit their photos at all. And I follow a variety of accounts that do not edit their photos, or they edit their photos in like a minimal way. And you can still see that there are certain parts of the photo that are unedited. You can still see that you can still see pores. You can still see blemishes. You can still see elements that make the photo largely unedited. And I will say that I've like looked at my own account and have looked at how much I used to edit makeup photos, and it was excessive, guys. It was excessive. And now, like recently, I have really been trying to not edit my photos that much. And I actually edit makeup photos a lot less than I edit like my photography. Whenever I edit makeup photos nowadays, I don't like to correct my skin. I don't like to do anything to like my like eyes. Like, if I'm editing a thumbnail, I do admit that a lot of times I like to up the contrast, I like to up the saturation, because a lot of people, the majority of people nowadays, are looking at YouTube through their phones, okay? So if you have like a thumbnail on your phone, you can't really see it too well if the thumbnail hasn't been edited a little bit more, okay? So that's why I edit thumbnails, and that's like the perspective that I'm looking at it at. But like, I think that like editing photos on Instagram, like the amount of editing that I do on Instagram has greatly decreased though. Nowadays, I like to first of all color correct if the lighting looks a little bit bluish or a little bit greenish, because I have spoken in previous videos how the lighting in this room can be a little bit finicky. The walls are green, the lighting comes in and it kind of bounces off the walls, and then it gives me like this greenish, this bluish tint, which I do not like. So I color correct my videos and I color correct my photos. So yeah, I color correct. Then if I, for instance, have like a hair in front of my eye, or if I have a hair on my face, I fix that in post-processing as well. I like to up the contrast a little bit in my photos, but that's pretty much it. And I honestly just like stopped editing my skin, which is a little bit like interesting to say, because to be honest, like, I'm not very secure in my skin. And I will say that the camera that I use is the same camera that I use for my photography, and it tends to really almost emphasize like imperfections and pores on my face. Like I zoom in into a makeup photo and I see pores and I see acne, and it's like, oh gosh, like I want to edit that. I want to so bad, but I don't. And I've been trying to like basically be more cognizant of the fact that I don't want to edit photos. I don't want to edit photos that much. I want to make sure that you guys see the artistry, and I don't want it to be clouded by something that essentially is an advertisement, which is another reason why I have stopped basically mentioning products in my Instagram captions. Like I basically either talk about the makeup look, I talk about my inspiration, I give you guys a little bit of a caption, you know, but I don't talk about the products that I'm wearing because I don't want it to be an advertisement, especially if I have edited the photo even minimally. In my YouTube videos, okay, since I only do color correction, I feel more comfortable with telling you, hey, this is the product I used to create this effect, and that's why like it feels less like an advertisement and more personal, you know? I don't want my makeup to look like an advertisement, and it's interesting because like a lot of photos can end up looking like an advertisement because of how much they're being edited. Because I'm a photographer, I can't post a photo and not edit it. It's not possible. I can't do it. Like, I can't. There have been some amazing photos that I've taken that require little to no editing, and I feel like I've taken like a few photos and not edited them at all and put them out. I might have said like no filter on those photos, but yeah, I mean, from a photographer standpoint, I can't just not edit my photos. If it's my work, I'm gonna edit it, you know? I'm gonna edit it, but at the same time, I think that there is a point when it's too much, and I have recognized that point and I'm pulling back. And I wanted to put this video out there for you guys because I know that a lot of you guys are creators as well. I've seen a lot of your makeup Instagrams, I've seen a lot of your Instagrams in general, and I really like your photos and I really like your videos. I want to see your viewpoint, I want to see your opinions. Do you agree with the fact that the over editing or the like vast attention given to editing a photo makes it a little bit more of an advertisement? Do you also recognize that a lot of creators are using a lot of photo editing in their photos, and what do you think about that? I might make a get ready with me in which I talk about this on like a more casual, more like extensive level, but I just wanted to film this quick video and get your opinion. So that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and found it informative and entertaining, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye guys.